All right, everyone, imagine you're choosing a path in a forest. One path looks beautiful but leads nowhere. The other is plain but takes you home. Which do you pick? That's the heart of pragmatism, choosing what works. Today, we'll dive into this philosophy. Any guesses about what pragmatism is, Emma?
Is it like being practical? Like focusing on what gets results?
Spot on. Pragmatism is a philosophy that says truth and meaning come from practical outcomes. It's less about abstract ideas and more about what makes a difference in real life. Think of it like cooking. A recipe's only good if the food tastes great. Want to hear who kicked this off?
Yeah, who came up with it?
Three big names: Charles Peirce, William James, and John Dewey, all Americans in the late 19th century. Peirce said ideas are only as good as their effects. James took it further, saying beliefs are true if they're useful. Dewey? He was all about learning by doing. Picture building a chair. You learn what works by testing it, not just thinking about it.
Okay, but how's that different from just being practical in everyday life?
Great question. Everyday practicality might mean fixing a flat tire because it gets you moving. Pragmatism as a philosophy goes deeper. It's a way to evaluate ideas or truths. For example, say you believe hard work always pays off. A pragmatist would ask, does that belief hold up in real situations? If it motivates you and gets results, it's true for you. If not, maybe it's not so true.
I'm not sure I get the truth part. Isn't truth, like, objective?
Love that you're digging in. Pragmatists say truth isn't some fixed thing sitting out there. It's more like a tool. If a belief like exercise improves mood, works in practice, it's true for you. William James used a cool analogy. Truth is like a check that's only valuable if the bank accepts it. If your belief cashes out in real life, it's good.
So, it's kind of subjective then? Like, my truth could be different from someone else's?
Exactly, but not totally free for all. Pragmatism says truths are tested by experience, so they're grounded in reality, not just feelings. Imagine two chefs arguing over the best way to make soup. One says, add salt early. The other says, add it late. A pragmatist would say, try both and see which tastes better. The proof's in the soup.
Haha, okay, that makes sense. But why did this philosophy pop up when it did?
Sharp question. In the late 1800s, America was changing fast. Industrialization, science was booming, old traditions were being questioned. People wanted ideas that could keep up. Pragmatism was like a new toolbox for a new world. Instead of arguing over ancient doctrines, it said, let's test what works. It fit a society building railroads and inventing light bulbs.
That's cool. But does it work for everything? Like, what about big moral questions like what's right or wrong?
You're hitting the tough stuff. Pragmatism can apply to morals, but it's tricky. John Dewey thought moral choices should be tested like experiments. Say you're deciding whether lying is okay to save a friend's feelings. A pragmatist would weigh the outcomes. Does it build trust? Hurt less? They'd say the right choice depends on what happens in practice, not some universal rule.
But what if I think lying's always wrong? Doesn't pragmatism kind of ignore that?
It doesn't ignore it. It challenges you to test it. If you believe lying's always wrong, a pragmatist would ask, what happens when you stick to that? If it causes more harm than good, like hurting your friend for no reason, maybe your rule needs tweaking. It's like updating software. Keep what works, fix what doesn't.
Okay, I think I'm getting it. But can you give me a super simple example of using pragmatism in my life?
Sure thing. Say you're picking a study method for exams. Flashcards, group study, or watching videos, which is best. A pragmatist wouldn't just pick one based on what's popular. You'd try each, see which helps you score higher, and go with that. It's about results, not theories.
Oh, I do that already. I just didn't know it was a philosophy.
Haha, see? You're a natural pragmatist. That's the beauty of it. It's not stuck in books. It's how we solve problems every day. William James said it's about looking toward last things, fruits, consequences. Focus on what comes out of your choices.
That's actually pretty cool. Is pragmatism still a big deal today?
Totally. It influences education. Think hands-on learning, like science labs. It's in business. Startups test ideas fast to see what sticks. Even in tech, coders use iterative design, which is super pragmatic: build, test, improve. It's less about being perfect and more about moving forward.
Wow, I didn't realize it was everywhere. Any downsides to it, though?
Great catch. Yeah, pragmatism has critics. Some say it's too focused on results and ignores deeper principles. Like, if what works is all that matters, could you justify bad stuff, like cheating, if it gets you ahead? Pragmatists would argue you have to consider long-term consequences, but it's a fair critique.
Yeah, that's kind of scary. So, how do I avoid that?
Balance it. Use pragmatism to test ideas, but don't throw out your values. Think of it like driving. Pragmatism is the GPS telling you the fastest route, but you still follow traffic rules to stay safe. Keep asking what works, but also what's worth working for.
That's a good way to put it. Thanks, Professor. This makes a lot more sense now.
My pleasure, Emma. Here's a little advice. Next time you're stuck on a problem, act like a pragmatist. Try something, see what happens, and adjust. Life's too short for perfect plans. Just go for what moves you forward. Keep experimenting.